The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Of Donald Trump, who may run for president in the Republican primaries. We begin our second segment with Trump's media exposure. You saw me on The View with the ladies walking out?
Yes,
okay.
I did.
But they didn't walk out on you when you brought up the birth certificate when they should have. That was worse than what I did. Is there a Muslim problem in the world?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't notice Swedish people knocking down the World Trade Center. There certainly is. And I came out very strongly against the mosque being built virtually across the street.
And so did I. You and I were on the same page. Okay. However, Muslim Americans say, hey, you're picking on us.
No, nobody's picking. The fact is, it was so insensitive when they announced the mosque in that location. Don't forget, that's my territory, Manhattan real estate. When they announced the mosque in that location, I couldn't believe it. You know, you have people, 3,000 people died, and you have all those parents and sisters and brothers and wives, and I mean, just saying, I can't believe it. The World Trade Center came down. My loved one, more than anybody in the world, I love this person, dead, and now they're building a mosque across it?
I thought it was the same way.
I think it's very insensitive. And I think
but you do believe overall there is a Muslim problem in the world?
Well, there is a Muslim problem, absolutely. You just have to turn on your television set.
And do you think it encompasses all Muslims?
No, and that's the sad part about life, because you have fabulous Muslims. I know many Muslims, and they're fabulous people. They're smart, they're industrious, they're great. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, there is a Muslim problem in the world. And by the way, and you know it, and I know it, and some people don't like saying it because they think it's not politically correct.
Whoopi and Joy will walk off on me. But when I say there's a Muslim problem in the world, I basically say, why don't the good Muslims, that I believe outnumber the bad Muslims probably 8 or 9 to 1,
or more,
why don't they, the Muslim community throughout the world, speak out more forcefully against the jihadists?
Well, there's something out there that brings a level of hostility that I've never seen in any religion. I mean, you can say what you want about the Quran, you can say what you want. There's something there. There is tremendous hatred, and tremendous hatred of us. I look at Iraq. I was watching the other day. You know, we've spent all this money and all those lives in Iraq. They hate us. They hate us. They can't get rid of us fast enough.
Now, when you were on The View and they didn't walk out, which they should have, because they walked out on me and they should have stayed, you were way, way worse than I was on that View. You were hammering the birth certificate. Now, we very early on did an investigation about Barack Obama's birth certificate. And what the factor found out was there were 2 announcements the week he was born in both Honolulu newspapers saying that he was born. Okay? That is impossible. That is impossible to make happen if he had not been born in the hospital. So therefore, I just put it to bed. I said he was born in Honolulu. All right? The 2 newspapers documented it. His mother was a hippie. His father was a guy from Kenya who split. There couldn't have been a sophisticated, what is he, baby Jesus? There was a sophisticated conspiracy to smuggle this baby back into the country. So I just dismissed it. But you made a big deal out of it.
Bill, I grew up with Wall Street geniuses. What they do in terms of fraud and how they change documents. And I'll tell you something, if you notice, those dates were 3 days later. And here's what I ask people. Who puts announcements? Here are 2 poor people, a man and a woman with no money. They have a baby. There's announcements in the newspaper.
The grandparents did it.
The grandparents. Nelson Rockefeller doesn't put announcements.
Sure, there are birth announcements all the time.
I've never seen one.
Really?
No, I've never seen
common.
one. I've never seen one.
Well, why is this important to you?
Because if you are going to be the President of the United States, you have to be born in this country. And there is a doubt as to whether or not he was born.
Do you really feel there's a doubt?
You know, I started off by saying, and I always do, and I did on The View, I'm a very smart guy. I went to the best college. I had good marks. I was a very smart guy, good student, all that stuff, okay? Because what they do to the birthers, which is a term I hate, because a lot of these birthers are just really quality people that just want the truth. What they do to the birthers is unbelievable, to a point where people are afraid to talk about this subject. They're afraid to confront you or anybody about this subject.
Do you think it's an important subject?
Listen. I have a birth certificate. Right. I have my birth certificate. In fact, they said the one I gave yesterday wasn't good enough. So I actually got the one from the health department, which is the perfect one, okay? Because they were saying, oh, the one I gave yesterday wasn't good enough, so I got the other one. People have birth certificates. He doesn't have a birth certificate. Now, he may have one, but there's something on that birth, maybe religion, maybe it says he's a Muslim. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want that, or he may not have one. But I will tell you this. If he wasn't born in this country, it's one of the great scams of all time.
Absolutely. But I don't
Well, I
that's the
mean,
case.
you don't, but I'm starting to think.
I don't think you believe that either. I think it's provocative.
2 weeks ago,
you get a lot of attention raising the question, but I don't think you believe
2
it.
weeks ago,
Yeah.
I felt like probably he was born in the country. Today, it's possibly. I'm telling you, it's changed. I've seen too many things.
Why did Whoopi Goldberg get so angry about you?
I don't know. And then she
Didn't
said,
you ask her?
Then she said to me, and she likes me. She said, Donald, I love you, but she actually said, if it were a white man. Now, I know they asked for Bush's birth certificate. I know for a fact they asked for John McCain's birth certificate.
So why did she make it racial?
I don't know. She brought race into
Right.
it. She brings race into it. What can I tell you?
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.